welcome to Five Towns College right here in Dix Hills, New York. I'm Matt O'Leary, he's Tyler Brandt. We will have some Five Towns College basketball for you tonight as they take on Monroe College. Tyler, what do you have for us on the game tonight? Well,
Five Towns won their last game on this home floor against Kings College, 102-39. It was really the biggest stat line that stood out to me was the 76-31 rebound advantage that Five Towns had all game long.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you mention rebounding, you got to think that obviously John Francois is going to be involved as he's the big man on this team.
Yeah, he's the big man down low. He does all the dirty work. Also, Anthony Priest led the team in rebounds last game with 9. So you'd assume both of them will be down there getting in the boards and doing the dirty work.
And how about the honorable mention All-American from last year, Kyrie Sawyer?
I mean, he's the catalyst of this team, excuse me. They go as he goes. 28 points, 6 assists, 6 boards, and 8 steals in their last game. He's the driving force of this team.
Absolutely, and now we're going to head on down to the sideline with Star Fuentes.
Thank you, guys. So unfortunately, the women's team did have a very rough game, but all the fans here are hoping that the men's can come out with a really big win for tonight. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Star, and we will have tip-off for you right after this.
and welcome in to the Five Towns College Gymnasium. I'm Tyler Brandt, joined by Matt O'Leary, and we're in for a fun one tonight, man.
Absolutely. Let's see what they have in store today.
So Monroe College comes to town with the JV team against our Five Towns men. And early action here as the Monroe men get the ball first, and we already got an early whistle here. Looks like that was against Five Towns, against Anthony Priest, and we switch it down low. And Monroe takes the first jumper of the evening, and the Five Towns men on the board. That is Corey Jacques, who tips it down to Kyrie. Kyrie is able to reel in that pass down to Lambry. Lambry back down low, underneath to Anthony Priest. And the Five Towns men on the board first here at home.
Good ball movement there by the Sound to get on the board quick.
The Monroe men working down, but a lot of Five Towns hands in there. And they swing it back around. That's Jimmy Brown with the ball, who drives, and he cannot finish, but we do have another whistle. That's an offensive foul, so Five Towns does get the ball here after scoring first, looking to get on a little bit of an early run here. Corey Jacques locked up by Jimmy Brown as he penetrates down deep, down to Braithwaite. Back up as Jacques begins to, looks like, set up the offense a little bit to Kyrie. Kyrie's open, but he does not take it. Back to Jacques. The extra pass is good. Behind the arc, 5-0. Five Towns Sound early in this game.
How about that? A hot start for the Sound, a 5-0 lead early on. Offense looks pretty good in the first minute.
That's back up to Jameek Brown. Jameek swings it back down to Zuriel Severino. Sevi swings it back out. A little bit of a bump there, but that is number 13 for your scorecards, Samuel Atogboy.
That's a mouthful, Tyler.
Yeah, that one's down. That one's a little tough. We'll get it though. So Kyrie Sawyer on the offensive end gets it down to Braithwaite. Braithwaite pulls up and cannot get the home roll. As we'll go back the other way, that's Jameek Brown leading the charge, getting a little fancy, cannot get the lucky tip in. And after a few more bounces, Braithwaite on the board down low. Braithwaite out to Jacques, and Jacques is telling the team to go as they swing it back down to Priest. Anthony Priest cannot finish. Rebounded by number 24, Omar Rodriguez, who swings it back down to Jameek Brown. And they go down into the corner. And Braithwaite almost had his hands on that. And Kyrie does manage to reel in that steal, but again, the ball is tipped out by Rodriguez, and Rodriguez moves the ball down the other way. That's up the hoop and the horn for Zuriel Severino as the Monroe men, the Monroe Express, finally get on the board here.
And it looks like they're going to get Corey Jacques on that first foul of the evening for Five Towns.
5-4 early here. The Five Towns men defending home as we have our first free throw shot from either team tonight. And Severino makes it. We are knotted up at 5 here as the Five Towns men work the ball down the floor on the offensive end. Priest moves the ball down to Jacques, who's open. Jacques dribbles into the lane, a pretty finish. And if you're gonna give him the lane, Matty, he's gonna make that all night.
Yeah, all night long. That's points 4 and 5 for Corey. Off to a hot start for him.
Rodriguez passes it down to Jameek Brown. And they set a pick for him. Cannot penetrate, back out to Rodriguez. Rodriguez, a long three, cannot finish. And that is Severino on the board, but it is taken out by Braithwaite and Ronnie Lambry to Corey Jacques, and we are headed back the other way for the offense. Jacques, a nice little 2 steps there, but he cannot finish, but he's gonna get the harm.
And Ty, it looks like the Sound have their much smaller lineup out there. No Obasi Jackson or John Francois on the floor, who are usually their 2 bigger men. So interesting to see this strategy out early on from Coach Drizel.
Yeah, and more on the size, Matty, too. It doesn't look like anyone on Monroe really poses a matchup, at least in the game right now, size-wise. So this smaller lineup kind of competes even at a high level.
Yeah, the tallest guy on the floor is only 6'4", and that's Atogboy? I don't know.
We'll get it. We are going to get it, I promise, folks. But that was Jameek Brown for Monroe. 8-7 for the Five-Town Sound. Corey Jock, again, just calling the offense here, down to Anthony Priest, who, again, do get a hand on it, and that was Zuriel Severino, who's been all over the floor early here, but it is going to remain Five-Town possession down here. Corey Jock down to Lambry, and Lambry is met by two express defenders, hoop, harm, and he will go for an and one to the line.
Very smart play by Lambry there to hesitate. He did a pump fake, got both guys to jump, and then he decided to go up hard and draw the foul. Very smart play as he goes to the line.
So 10-7 early here as Lambry goes for the three-point play. And he is able to finish. He converts as Brown receives the inbound pass, and they pass it down to Rodriguez, who's met by two Five-Town defenders. And again, pass back down low from Rodriguez, and a little too strong there by number 21, Okello White. And Corey Jock takes the ball up the floor, leading the charge for the Sound. They swing it around to Kyrie Sawyer. Kyrie, a little hesitation, a little pump fake, and a hop step. Cannot finish with contact as Monroe grabs the defensive rebound. As Jameek Brown manages once again to go coast to coast. And he could be a problem early here for Five-Towns.
Yeah, Jameek Brown really showing off his speed there. Blew by two Sound defenders.
Corey Jock hands it off to Kyrie in the corner. Kyrie drives baseline where he's met by two Monroe defenders. Down to Jock. Jock spins a nice, pretty move at the elbow, but he cannot finish. And then it's Severino, who's met by two Five-Towns defenders. This full court defense could be a problem here. And they do bump, and it looks like that might be on Severino. Excuse me, Anthony Priest.
Yeah, they're going to get Priest on that one. It looks like there was some contact as they're trying to head up the floor. And now, as we mentioned it, here comes a couple of bigger guys for the Sound, Obasi Jackson and Ismail Shabazz.
We will see now, like you said, mentioning the height, we'll see now if something changes, if it slows down a little bit with the bigger men in.
Yeah, absolutely, because in the first 5 minutes of this game, it's been pretty rapid fire for both sides.
That's Brown. Brown goes down low to Severino, who's met by two Five-Towns defenders. And we do have the possession arrow going the other way, so it'll be Five-Towns ball, excuse me.
Yeah, they'll give it to Five-Towns after calling that a jump ball. Good defense from Obasi Jackson, who just entered.
Obasi, the long inbound pass to Kyrie Sawyer. And there he is, starting to set the offense up down here. Corey Jock locked up by Jameek Brown. And a hard hit there. That was number 21, Okello White on Obasi Jackson.
Yeah, they're going to get him. He went over the back on Obasi Jackson. They'll call that every day. So the Sound reset down low on the away team baseline. That's Corey Jock. He's yelling out some instructions here. A little bit of an inbound play maybe to Kyrie in the corner. Locked up by two Monroe defenders. Ismail Shabazz. Ismail tries to drive the lane. Back to Kyrie for three. Uncovered, and he makes it. You cannot leave him that wide open. No, if you give him the room, he's going to drain it every time, and Five-Towns extends to a 14-9 lead.
And Monroe Express down there. That's a little friendly bump there. So we do have our first time out of the game. 14 minutes, 42 seconds remaining. We're still in the early part of this game, Maddie, but the Five-Towns are out to an early lead. The Sound are out to an early lead.
Yeah, absolutely, and you got to like what you've seen so far from the Sound. I think their offense really came out of the gates pretty strong. Sometimes we've seen them get off to a bit of a slow start and come off strong in the second half, whereas this time it appears that it's going to be the reverse of that, at least in the first half, where they're getting off to a strong start and hopefully keeping that going throughout the entire length of the game.
Yeah, and this is a big win. Five-Towns just absolutely destroyed Kings College last week on their home floor, so they need this kind of momentum to keep going as we head towards the latter half of the schedule here.
Absolutely, and obviously Five-Towns has a pretty good conference record, but we want to see what that overall record is going to end up at the end of the year.
You're absolutely right. So we reset here with some action on the floor as Kyrie Sawyer brings the ball up, and that is a little bit of a chippy play on. That's Jameek Brown, who hit Ismail Shabazz pretty hard. Hard enough to get a call at least.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's really no need for it. He wasn't anywhere near the ball, so I'm not sure
what the thought process there was.
No, even Jimmy Brown was not a fan of that call. Ismail Shabazz down low, nice pass to Kyrie, who is going to get whistled for a travel, as it looked like he tried to dodge a stiff elbow there from Monroe.
Absolutely. This game getting a little physical here by Monroe as they trail by 3.
So Ismail Shabazz locking up Monroe. Monroe goes down low to Akello White, and he cannot finish.
And they're going to get Shabazz on the foul there. So we'll see White from the line here.
Akello White looking to get his team back within just a point here early. And he misses the first one from the line. Akello White, second and 2. And he does manage to split both of the free throws as the Five Towns offense begins their possession here. Corey Jacques takes it up the floor to Kyrie Sawyer. Kyrie whips it around to Obasi Jackson, who goes back to Sawyer at the top of the key. He'll drive right through the middle, can't finish with the contact, and Monroe goes the other way. That's Ronnie Lambry locking him up. And a smooth, nice little pass there to Akello White as Monroe now ties his game up at 14 apiece.
Yeah, that was really good ball movement on that possession by Monroe.
Ronnie Lambry passes down to Ismail Shabazz. Passes back out to Sawyer. As they begin to reset, Shabazz coming down. They're going to give him the open room for the elbow jumper, and he does make it. 2-point lead for Five Towns.
Shabazz has a sneaky good shot. You can't give him that much space.
That's Rodriguez, who's locked up by 2 Five Towns defenders. Back down to Brown, and Brown again. A nice move around the rim, but he cannot finish this time. As Ismail Shabazz on the board. Ismail down to Corey Jacques. Over to Kyrie. Kyrie wide open. Nothing but net, Matty.
No, you said it earlier. You can't give him that much space. He's going to drain it every time, and it's a 5-point lead for the Sound.
They got to somehow figure out not to let him get open like that. But the Monroe offense takes their possession there. 5-point lead cut almost in half by Akello White, who's starting to heat up here as we cross the midway point of the first half. Ronnie Lambry down low, a little bit of contact, but no whistle. They go back the other way. Monroe, the offense, leading and finishes with the contact. A lot of contact there by Corey Jacques, but he's able to muscle through.
Yeah, good power there by Jacques. He's had himself a nice first half.
Obasi in the corner, a long 2, cannot finish. And Rodriguez will take the ball up the floor for Monroe, who will pass it over to Brown. And Ronnie Lambry gets his hand in there, and we will stay down here for a Monroe inbound.
A couple substitutions here. John Francois is going to come into the game, and we're also going to get number 22, Jonathan Lopez, for Monroe.
John Francois, we talked about it pregame. This is the guy we want to see have a big game, and he's very clearly the biggest man on the floor right now. Jaleel Jackson swings it out to Omar Rodriguez, and he cannot finish, but Obasi on the offensive board. Defensive board, excuse me. Corey Jacques down low to Kyrie. Kyrie working a little bit of magic on the baseline, but he's met by 2 Monroe defenders. A jump ball, but Corey Jacques is able to control that ball, bring it back down. But another turnover, and another turnover as Five Towns cleans up that mess, but cannot finish that. They're going to call that a travel on Obasi.
Tough spot for Obasi Jackson to take a travel. Five Towns had a real advantage there with like a 4-on-1, and that travel cost them in a big spot.
Absolutely. As Jaleel Jackson swings it around to Omar Rodriguez. Rodriguez dancing on the baseline. A nice pass cross court to Brown, but Brown can't finish. Jackson gets a little bit of contact. They are going to wave it off.
And then get Kyrie Sawyer there on that one.
There was a nifty little move by Jaleel Jackson. Kyrie does not love that call, though, Matty.
No, I don't necessarily blame him. I thought it was questionable, but...
Omar Rodriguez cannot reel in that pass from Severino, so a boneheaded turnover there by Monroe as Five Towns regains possession.
Yeah, I mean, you just get possession there off of that travel, and you can't capitalize on that mistake. Back-to-back mistakes for both sides.
Kyrie brings the ball up the floor. 11 minutes remaining here in the first half. A 1-point lead by Five Towns, the Five Town Sound. And Obasi works down low on Severino. Gets fancy with the finish, the little up and under, and it works.
How about that? A little finger roll for Obasi Jackson.
Jameek Brown swings it down to Rodriguez, and again Rodriguez has to reel in a tough pass. That's Jackson. Jackson works down low on Corey Jock. He's not making it over Corey, not with that size. And Ishmael Shabazz gets his hand in there, and it looks like we are staying right here. Five Towns ball.
We're going to get a switch in. Braithwaite is going to come in, and Kyrie Sawyer is going to take a seat.
So Jameek Brown will inbound it here to Jaleel Jackson. And it goes back down to Brown. Playing catch over the top of the key to Rodriguez for three, and he cannot finish. Obasi tips it up, and after a little bit of a scramble, Braithwaite ends up with it, and Nigel Braithwaite goes down to Corey Jock, who almost loses it down there. Goes down to Francois. Francois gets it hard. And we're gonna have a stoppage here.
Yeah, we should get the big man.
At least that's what it looked like on our end.
Oh, maybe not. I'm sorry. I thought it was going to be...
They're calling that on Braithwaite. I'm not Joe Braithwaite.
All right, a little confusion. My bad, Ty.
No, I was with you there. It looked like Francois got hit pretty hard on his way up.
I thought that's exactly what it would be, the big man at the free throw line, but apparently not.
So Five Towns will regain possession here. Corey Jock down low to John Francois. And it looks like they're going to call Monroe. They're holding John Francois.
Yeah, Lopez, who just entered recently. Huge height disadvantage for Lopez, who only 5'11".
And you can clearly see that here on the floor. As Shabazz swings it down to Braithwaite. Braithwaite back down to Francois. And Francois working with that size advantage, cannot finish.
I think they're going to get 32 for going over the back. That's John Francois.
So Monroe does regain possession here. We have another whistle here. A very interestingly officiated first half here.
That's one way to put it.
So we do have a whistle, a little bit of a clarification with the scores table and possession. Whatever happened, Monroe has the ball, I can assure you that.
That's the most important part. As long as we convey that to the viewer, I think we're a good tie.
So Jaleel Jackson will inbound it to Lopez. Back up to the top of the key, back to Jackson. And then we'll go down low. That's a long three. Monroe cannot connect on the three. And Five Towns up three will start to work the ball down the field, down the court, excuse me. But it is swatted. It looks like he got a piece of that, Jonathan Lopez. And they go back down the floor. And after a scrum there, it looks like we are staying down here. Five Towns ball. Obasi inbounds it to Corey Jock. Jock's working his way up the floor, guarded by Kevin Pavano. And that is an airmail. Airmailed that ball. Payano, excuse me.
Payano, there we go. Yeah, obviously not a good looking pass there by the Sound, and Monroe will take over.
Justin Parrish works the ball up the floor, swings it down to Jackson. And again, they go back and forth up at the top of the key, down, back up to Paris. And this Five Towns defense is not breaking down an inch, but Jackson does get a little nifty down there, cannot finish. Ishmael Shabazz on the board after it's tipped by John Francois, again showing that size. Braithwaite pulls up the mid-range jumper, splashes it home. A nice shot by Nigel Braithwaite.
That was pretty. I wasn't sure if that was going to Braithwaite or Obasi Jackson in the corner, but effective nonetheless.
Justin Parrish again hands that ball up to Jaleel Jackson. They go back to Kevin Payano. And that's Itagwe. Pulls up, cannot finish. And they both get their hands in there, but Nigel Braithwaite is able to control that ball. And Jean-Francois takes the ball up the floor here. The pick set by Francois. As they go back down to Ismail Shabazz in the corner, the long three, cannot get it off the backboard. And a little bit of a scrum down there. Obasi ends up with it, and he finishes. So a little bit of a scrum there on the offensive end for Monroe, and 5 Towns turns it into 2 extra points.
Yeah, got to capitalize when those opposing teams give you the opportunities, and 5 Towns did just that.
Jackson swinging around at the top of the key. That's Justin Paris. Nice 3-point shot for Justin Paris there.
Yeah, Paris showing off the range a little bit on that shot.
Corey Jock, a nice handoff. Looks like he got a little bit of a thumb to the eye there. As the ball is moving here, we are high intensity. Shabazz hits the deck, so we got a 2-on-1 down the other end. Braithwaite, and they cannot convert the 2-on-1. And Braithwaite gets his hands on the ball, and the possession arrow is going to keep it down here.
I think they're going to get a foul, too.
I think that was on Jonathan Lopez, Matty.
Okay.
So it looked like Corey Jacques got hit in the eye there, and then in the loose ball, Ismail Shabazz hits the deck going for it, and Monroe cannot convert a 2-on-1 on the offensive end. And now here we are back on the other end, and Braithwaite's taken 2.
And in this room, we have also an entry, Aaron Kennard, enters for the first time today.
And Braithwaite makes his first of 2. So we move into the later portion of the first half here. 26-21, the 5 Towns down, defending home court pretty well thus far. And Braithwaite, 2 for 2 at the line. 27-21 here as Monroe and Justin Paris take the ball up the floor. Paris tries to put a little bit of a move on him, but he cannot finish. And again, the Monroe offense takes it down to the rim, but they cannot finish around the rim. And Kyrie Sawyer takes the ball up the floor. Back to Obasi, the long 3 from Obasi, cannot finish, off the feet of Kennard, cannot finish, and again, Itagwe with the ball for Monroe. As that's Jackson breaking him down. Francois, looks like he got a piece of that ball, but we are staying down here with the Monroe offense, and they cannot finish there. Jonathan Lopez, a little short on the free throw line jumper.
Yeah, Jean-Francois' height really showed off on that last possession there with the block.
Braithwaite the long 2, and again leaving these shooters wide open. That's not the key. That's not how you're going to win this game if you're Monroe.
No, absolutely not. And Coach takes a timeout for Monroe. Obviously want to talk things over as 5 Towns beginning to pull away now, 8-point lead with 6:54 to go. Yeah,
it seems like 5 Towns are starting to play their game a little bit. We've talked all game, all night about Jean-Francois' size. He's made it known. And then if you're Monroe, you're leaving these shooters, these good shooters for 5 Towns open. Kyrie's going to make them. You're going to give Nigel Braithwaite that shot, he's going to make it every time.
No, yeah, absolutely. And when you mentioned the height, Jean-Francois is 3 inches taller than anyone else on the floor. Obviously, that's going to play a factor in this game. Haven't seen it a whole lot just yet, but eventually I'm sure that's going to come to fruition. Also, like you mentioned, you can't keep giving Kyrie Sawyer opportunities from the 3-point line untested because he is going to bury them every single time. There's a reason why he was an honorable mention All-American last year, and he's proving that again so far this year.
Couldn't say it any better myself, Matty.
Thank you.
So we are still in a little bit of a timeout here, as both teams look like they are getting ready to take the floor here. So Monroe will get the ball at their own baseline down here. Kevin Payano receives the inbound pass. As the Monroe offense starts to set up down low, Justin Paris swings it back down to Payano. Payano for 3, cannot finish it as Kyrie goes high to get the board. And the 5 Towns offense begins to work down the floor here. Francois working at the top of the key, trying to get Kyrie an opening. And it looks like they're going to whistle that on Kyrie.
I'm a little surprised with that one. I don't think Payano had his feet set there.
It didn't look like it from where we were sitting, but the officiating has been Like you said, interesting.
Interesting, spotty. One of those two will probably suffice.
Yeah. It's been a night. As Justin Parrish takes the ball up the floor, down to Jackson, Jackson down to Parrish. Parrish to Payano, back up to Parrish, yes. Back to Jackson. Working the ball at the top of the key here, and a long three. And Justin Parrish saves a terrible possession with a long three.
That's the second time tonight he showed off the deep range.
Kennard back to Corey Jacques, to Francois, who commands 3 defenders, and they're going to whistle Obasi with a travel. He had the lane. He's not a fan of that call.
That's the second time tonight in a big spot where Obasi Jackson traveled with an open look headed towards the basket. He's frustrated with the call. The coach not in agreement with the referees, though.
So Justin Parrish off of the travel call, takes the ball up the floor. Jackson back to Parrish, to Payano. Payano works the ball deep, gets a little elbow jumper, cannot finish. But Obasi Jackson does grab the ball on the defensive end. Corey Jacques up to Kennard. Kennard, a pretty finish. The newest member of the Five-Town Sound getting involved in the action here.
Yeah, absolutely. Going up with some authority to the rim to lay that one in.
Justin Parrish. Again, slowing the ball down to Jackson, back out to Parrish, to Payano. And they're going to get a call that's going to be on Justin Parrish. Excuse me, that's a Togway.
I'm not quite sure that's how you say it, Ty. I don't know.
I've latched myself to the pronunciation of former Ram safety.
Okay. All right.
So I've just rolled with that.
That's fine.
I apologize, Togway family. So let's get back to work here. Down low, Five-Town's offense. Swings the ball around to Corey Jacques as they slow it down. Start to set up the offense. Corey Jacques comes up for Jean-Francois comes up for a pick, excuse me. But he does get the offensive board, and he's met 50% straight up by Jaleel Jackson. A very nice play by someone that's undersized, and he goes coast to coast on it.
Yeah, how about that? Jackson showing off the jumping ability right there.
That was phenomenal. As Corey Jacques swings it around the top. And that is Aaron Kennard, who cannot finish from the corner 3. And Jacques gets his hand in on Brown's ball, and that's jumped on by Kennard. A turnover, and it's going to be Five-Town's ball.
Maybe something to watch there, something between Brown and Corey Jacques talking after the play.
There has been a little bit of chirping back and forth. There's been a couple tough fouls. It's been a little testy here. So Kennard will head to the line here. 4 minutes, 36 seconds remaining in the first half. 31 points for your home team, Five-Town Sound. 26 for the visiting Monroe Express. Aaron Kennard does not make the free throw. And we're going back the other way. That's Monroe ball. I'm gathering they assessed each team a technical foul, if I'm putting the pieces together here.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of got to put the puzzle pieces together sometimes up here. Not always an explanation.
No. I mean, this is the theme of the night. It's been interesting. So Jonathan Lopez takes his second free throw shot. 2 for 2 from the line. He makes them both. 2 big free throws here as we head towards halftime. Just over 4 minutes remaining. Corey Jacques goes down low where he's met by 2 Monroe defenders. A nice pass to Obasi. Obasi takes a step back, cannot finish. Kennard tries to get the board, but he cannot. Jaleel Jackson out in front, and that's Lopez. Lopez with the finish out in front of traffic. A 1-point lead for the Five-Town Sound. Corey Jacques takes the ball down to Braithwaite. The pass is back up to Jacques. Francois sets the pick to go the opposite way, but he's met by 3 Monroe defenders. Takes the long 2, cannot finish. Obasi does grab the board, cannot get the lucky bounce as two Monroe defenders, but again, the height advantage. The big man, Jean-Francois, grabs the board. They really slow it down now.
And that's exactly where it comes into play as the big man goes to set a pick.
Braithwaite, the long three, cannot finish, and Monroe finally. It looks like they might have had the ball, but Kennard got his hand on it too. The possession arrow's down here. It'll be Monroe ball.
Definitely noticed a lot of physical play there on that possession too. It looked like after that three, there was some connection there, but no call.
I did notice that too. That's very interesting. Jameek Brown takes the ball up, down to Jackson, back up to Brown. Brown, a nice little hop step, cannot finish from the free throw line, but the ball's bounced around between both teams, and it is safely possessed by the Sound. Ismail Shabazz takes the ball up the floor here. To Kennard. Kennard to Francois. Francois working down low, and he gets the finish finally. That size. And it looks like that was Okella White that was feeling his ribs there after a tough back down by Jean-Francois. And Jackson goes up and finishes against Francois again.
How about Jackson tonight? He has shown very positive signs in the first half for Monroe as they creep right back into this game, only down by 1.
Corey Jacques. The pick set by Jean-Francois. And he's being held by two Monroe players. So that whistle's got to be on Monroe, you'd assume.
They're going to get that on Justin Paris, his first foul.
Yes, you cannot hold the bigger man by the waist as he walks down the field.
No, absolutely not. And Jean-Francois is going to go to the charity stripe.
And Francois misses the first of two there as Ronnie Lambry checks into the game.
Kennard's going to take a seat on the bench after a couple of points.
Francois to make it a 2-point game, and he misses them both. But it looks like Monroe left early.
Yeah, it's going to be a violation. They're going to try this one again.
So we'll do it again. Jean-Francois, one more opportunity to make it a 2-point game here. And again, he misses. And that's Brown, but Brown can't handle it, and it's taken out of the hands, but back in the hands of Francois. Francois can't finish. Neither can Corey Jacques. It's intense here as they go down to Jackson, and Jackson jumps hard into Braithwaite. Then he's going to get the hoop and the harm.
And with that, we have a lead change. Monroe has come all the way back and taken the lead, and they will go to the free throw line looking to add to that.
So a first half, or at least the beginning of a first half that was early dominated by the Sound. All of a sudden, Monroe has climbed their way back into this game. And like you said, Manny, they got a lead.
Absolutely.
As Lambry on the board gets the ball back from Braithwaite. Jacques out to Shabazz, back up to Lambry. They pass it around the top of the key. Corey Jacques working down low. They swing it back around to Lambry. Lambry to Corey Jacques. Lambry the three, and he cannot finish. And Jackson, Jaleel Jackson for Monroe as they start to go the other way. Paris cannot go for three, but he does get the offensive board off the hands of Francois. That's Brown. Brown driving the lane, and that is down to Samuel. Atagwe cannot finish. Corey Jacques grabs the ball. And the Five Towns offense begins to work. Inside the last minute and 30 seconds here of the first half, Ismail Shabazz at the top of the key. Working down low, and it looks like he loses the ball. But it will stay down here. Last touch by Monroe.
Yeah, it looks like it was touched last by Jaleel Jackson. So Jacques will take it from underneath his own basket and look for a teammate.
Jacques, the no-look pass, but Shabazz can't finish, but he does grab the offensive board. The free throw line passes it down low to Lambry, and it somehow ends up off some hands into Francois' hands, and he'll clean that up, no big deal.
Love the no-look pass showing off like Patrick Mahomes out there.
Jackson back to Paris to Brown. Paris again to Jackson, the long three for Jackson, and he cannot finish, but they do grab the offensive board. We are under 1 minute here in the first half. Five Towns grabs the board on the defensive end. Corey Jock's gonna try to go, but he cannot. He does get the whistle. That's number 21, Akella White. Jock will head to the line with an opportunity to take a 3-point lead, hopefully into the locker room here.
Absolutely, it's been a very tight game, but after the hot start from the Sound to start the game, you would hope that you head into halftime with the lead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But he does miss the first one. So here we go, the second of 2 free throws, an opportunity to take a 2-point lead. And after a few rattles, it does bounce in as Justin Parrish takes the ball up the floor, passes it to Jackson. Back to Parrish, who goes to Brown, who goes back to Parrish, who goes, again, just passing the ball around the arc. Tries to go in, and it gets stolen. Clear the runway. Corey Jock, an easy lay-in, nobody down there on the steal. And a big steal there as we are under 30 seconds here. And another, and Nigel Braywaith gets his hand in there, but he cannot corral it, so it'll stay down here. 26 seconds left, a 4-point Five-Town Sound lead. The shot clock is still on, so we will see what they do with these final 2 possessions here for each team. Brown to Jackson. Again, just passing it around beyond the 3-point line here. Jackson to Brown. Brown drives baseline, and Francois gets his arm on it, but we do have a whistle here.
Coach Greg Drizel noticeably upset. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I didn't see this, but I did see him pacing, and he is drawn back and forth with the team here, so he's not happy about something. So that last whistle was on Corey Jock. And Jameek Brown to the line. Misses his first free throw. 4.2 seconds left here. 38-34, the Five-Town Sound lead, as it looks like we are about to head into the locker room here. Brown makes the second one. So with 4 seconds left here, let's see what happens. Shabazz goes down the free throw line. Jumper cannot get it at the buzzer. So that will be your first half here at the Five-Town Sound Gymnasium. 38 points for the hometown Five-Town Sound, 35 for the Monroe Express.
Yeah, and I got to give Monroe a lot of credit. They fought their way right back into this game when it could have potentially gotten out of hand early. Five Towns put the pressure on really early in this game, but they're able to stay strong and get a lot of coast-to-coast plays and finish.
It was kind of an interesting first half here with both teams kind of Five Towns getting out early, like you said, but you got to appreciate Monroe battling back on the road. And Jaleel Jackson's first half has been amazing here.
Yeah, really. I think that everyone pretty much has gotten involved on offense, so absolutely for Monroe, you're seeing them move the ball around. I think both teams are playing with a high pace, so it's interesting to see how that will turn out in the second half.
It is going to be a very, very interesting second half here. There's a lot of things to look forward to here. Again, we talked about Five Towns coming off of the win in their last game. They blow out Kings College. So it's going to be a big second half here to keep this momentum going. As again, we talked about the playoff seeding and the conference record here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a huge factor down the stretch for the rest of the season, and we'll see how that ends up for the Sound as things continue to progress into the later stages of the season.
So we do hit the half here. Once again, 38-35 for those counting at home. It'll be a fun second half here. It looks like we have Star working down there. A little bit of technical difficulties, but she's waiting for us. We're going to throw it down to Star, who is now ready. Star, what's going on down there?
What's going on, guys? Right now I'm here with Anthony Priest. So, Anthony, this game has been extremely intense. Can you tell me about your thoughts on the game so far?
So far, we're playing hard, we're playing tough. We're trying to protect home court right now. up by 3. I feel personally we should be up by a little bit more, but as long as we put everything on the floor, we should be fine. This is a great game, though. It's a great game.
Now, I see you motivating your team on court and off court. Have you noticed any growth in your teammates from last semester to this semester?
Definitely, definitely. Everybody's buckling down. Everybody's learning from their mistakes, trying not to make the same mistakes anymore. So we're getting better. We're getting better every day.
Well, the sound is rooting for you, so good luck in the next half. All right, guys, back to you.
So we are back here. We're going to give you a little bit more here before we take a halftime break. But it is going to be a very interesting second half here. We noticed it getting a little testy between each team. And we noticed Coach Drizel up on the sidelines in arms. So it's going to be very interesting to watch the back and forth here in the second half.
Let's see how that works out in the second half, because both teams were pretty intense. We think that both teams had technicals. We weren't exactly sure. It appeared that way.
Yeah.
Again, not a whole lot of communication tonight, but that's the way it is sometimes, unfortunately, in D2 basketball.
Yeah. So we are going to take a quick break here. We'll join you. Before you know it, we'll be back with second half action right here in the 5 Towns Gym.
Film Club, essentially we are here for students who, in short, want to make films. But we're here to incorporate all majors. We're trying to make this more of a professional setting, so we're going to teach kids how to do pre-production, post-production, as well as regular production, and teach them all the ins and outs of the trade.
Out of all of them, what most interested me was the Esports League of Legends Club right over here, right behind me. They got some cool things going on. They're making more options, not just League of Legends, they're doing other games and stuff like that. It's going to be interesting. Very fun semester.
So today for my business seminar class, we had a presentation to do on entrepreneurs. We just looked around for different entrepreneurs in different aspects of the industry that we're currently in. Prior to the presentation, I had about a week or two to prepare. I went online and I found information about Dr. Dre, which is an entrepreneur that I admire very much, and I was able to acquire the information, jot it down, and put it in chronological order and be able to present it to the class and still be able to educate students on what he has done and how he has impacted not only us personally, but everyone in the industry. He met a lot of complications along his rise to being an artist, and then one of them being the controversies, a lot of controversies that circulated, not only him, but his group and friends of NWA. Their explicit lyrics of the street life in Compton was very much censored, not only in the media, but radio. These type of assignments are always very interesting to me because it not only gives us a look at other artists and other people that we aspire to be like, but we can also learn from their mistakes and the way they have risen to the top in the industry. I think that's what makes 5 Towns a very special place here, to be able to learn from other people, not only here at the school, but as from in the industry surrounding us as well.
Moving day is a great experience for any incoming freshman. It's sad to see that, you're saying bye to your parents, but it's also great to say hi to new people that you never met before, people that you're gonna graduate with, people you're gonna study with, people you're gonna experience 5 Towns with.
I got to meet a lot of different people, and I also got to see some faces that were from my high school. The staff here is fun. They're nice people. They really want to help you succeed and everything.
I think our staff did an incredible job of welcoming their students and providing an efficient and organized process for move-in, and especially with all the events happening as part of our week of welcome, I really think we're showing them what their year at Five Towns can truly be.
My favorite part of s'mores night is how many people actually don't know what s'mores are, and watching their face when they have like all the textures and the taste at once, and they're like, wow, that tastes so good. Like it's just, it's funny, it's humorous, and it's cool, it's fun.
These events are important for students. It helps them connect. It helps them get to know each other. They're fun. A lot of our students come out and they just kind of mingle. It's good, especially in the beginning of the semester. It kind of gets them the blood pumping, and it gets them the spirits of Five Towns going.
It builds a sense of community. You get to know your leaders, your pro staff, and it's just a great way to mingle and make friends.
And welcome back to the basketball game. I'm here, Star Fuentes, here with our president, Dr. David Cohen. So, what's it like watching the game tonight with all of the players that you have watched grown from the very beginning?
It's really quite exciting to see them mature and grow as players and as students into, young men and women. It is very exciting. This game has a particular excitement for me, though, because I remember in 2000 when we had our first athletic program taking on Monroe College. So coming tonight to see them take on Monroe College again 18 years later is quite exciting to see the program back and doing so well.
18 years, wow, that's really exciting, quite the celebration. What's it like also adding a volleyball team and a soccer team to the Sound?
Well, it's great. The students have been very enthusiastic about the athletic program, and the prospective students have been very enthusiastic about it, and they've told us that's what they want, so that's what we're going to do.
And also, we are starting a new semester right now. Do you have any words of wisdom for their new students here at Five Towns?
Yes, winter break is over. Buckle down, let's get back to work. We have 15 weeks until the end of the year. This spring we have a lot of really great things planned. There's been some renovations going on over the break. The ICG program is doing well. All of the programs are growing in enrollment. It's a really good time to be at Five Towns College.
Thank you. Well, speaking of back to work, we're going to get back to work and we'll be back after this. Right now, we're hosting the Radio Club kickoff party. Everyone's really excited, especially the radio personalities, because they're going to be getting a chance to talk about their radio show and talk about everything that their show has to offer here at Five Towns College, WFTU Radio.
It's important to promote your show, get to know everyone else who does a show, because at WFTU we're definitely a community, and it's good that everyone is involved and getting stuff done, and also just like networking and making connections and stuff like that.
For other people who don't know much about radio, they get to meet us and get to know us personally, not just listen to our shows. They get to see a face. And it helps the people who do have radio shows to connect with other hosts.
And they're fundraising for the radio station to get improvements, and I can't wait to see what they have in store for us then.
There are over over 30 radio shows here at Five Towns College. You can listen to them at WFTU Radio, 1570 AM, or you can download the TuneIn app or the WFTU Radio app.
I think it's pretty cool that we have a freshman showcase so early, because a lot of times you don't know what people are doing and what their talent and ability really is, and you can also see how you can use people if you like need someone to help you out with something.
Don't you know I sit around with my head hanging down and I wonder.
I just think it's a good opportunity. Some people probably never really had the opportunity to perform or really just showcase their talent, and this is like a first step. Getting like your first jitters out so soon, so early.
Release my body, I'm gonna stand on the edge of the earth. Be released and live in my rebirth. I think I'll kick it down the street. That's the way to treat a friend. Guess I gotta keep up. How you are.
Maybe some people didn't do the freshman showcase now, but then showcases forward, they'll be like, why not try to do every showcase I can? More so just giving an opportunity for us to perform is just a great ability to have.
Of course we keep on going. Be cool, go on and fake it. We make the same mistakes we always made, and now let's face it.
For more than 3 decades, Grammy-nominated pianist, composer, and arranger David Benoit has reigned supreme as one of the founding fathers of contemporary jazz.
Getting a college education now is more important than ever, especially considering that now we're moving into more advanced technology. I think education is more important. So a combination, follow your passion, but also back it up with some education. I like the feeling in the room today. There was a lot of heart and a lot of pride, and it just came through in the performances, so it was really nice to see all that.
Norm Lewis is the quintessential American Broadway musical actor, a triple threat, outstanding acting, dancing, and singing abilities.
Go to school, get your degree, because it means so much to have that piece of paper. I'm 55 right now, and this is my first time having something like this, so I'm really honored. And now I don't feel as embarrassed as I used to in a crowded room when people would say, yeah, I got my degree at blah, blah, blah. Well, I have a doctorate now. And then when I found out about Five Towns,
Hello and welcome back to Five Towns College right here in Dix Hills, New York. Second half basketball coming up for you in just a moment. 38-35 lead for the Sound so far. Tyler, what are your thoughts on the second half? What does Monroe have to do to get back into this game? And what about Five Towns to extend the lead?
You know, I think Five Towns has to keep kind of doing what they're doing. I want to see them use Jean-Francois Sizemore. It seems like for being the biggest player on the floor, they haven't really utilized that as much. And then on the other end, I'm very interested to see the chippiness, because this got very testy. So it's been building. So if this game is close late, I'm curious to see what will happen between these two teams.
Absolutely, and we're just about ready to go now.
You good?
Anthony Priest is going to toss it into Corey Jock, and here we go, away we go in the second half. He passes it over to Braithwaite, back to Jock, working it down low to Shabazz. He puts up a floater, and that one's going to be no good. And saved by Anthony Priest, who throws it off of a Monroe player. A very aggressive and smart play there, and that's going to go off Severino.
That was a 200 IQ move there.
I wish I was that smart at anything in life. Corey Jacques with it. Over for Kyrie Sawyer. Kyrie working it over now. Priest has it. Thought about a three, instead gives to Jock. Jock is driving, gives to Priest. Priest now tries. He puts up a floater short off the side of the rim, no good. And they're going to get Monroe on the travel after Corey Jacques bumped him, no less. A little surprised with that. They're going to get Brown on it.
Here we go. This is what we're talking about. It's going to get a little chippy here.
Sawyer slaps the ball, looks for one of his teammates to get open. Still looking, he throws it up for Shabazz. Out for Nigel Braithwaite, a three-point land, back to Shabazz, working it down low, and that ball's gonna be loose, but Corey Jacques is there to pull that in, and that's tipped away. It's gonna head up the floor. Oh no, Braithwaite's there to pull that one in. Sloppy basketball here to start the second half. And now finally Monroe will head up the floor the other way.
That is not the start you want if you're 5 Towns here.
Absolutely not, and we're gonna get a charge on top of that. They are gonna get Jameek Brown on the charge.
And I don't think Okello White liked that call. It looked like he was looking back at the refs, maybe saying something, chirping a little bit.
That's been the theme today.
Say that again.
As Corey Jacques gets the pick from Shabazz. Works it down low. Priest goes up, and we'll have a whistle.
You know, Corey Jacques did the no-look pass again. He's really just acting like he's an expert at the Pat Mahomes maneuver here.
Yeah, he did it a few times in the first half. I wasn't able to jump in there because it was such a quick, fast-moving game. I couldn't really get in there on the color, but I've noticed it a few times, and I like it. I really do. First attempt is good for Priest. And that one is also good. A couple there for Anthony Priest. This is a 40-35 game with 18:52 remaining. Here comes Monroe now, driving baseline. That's going to go out of bounds, but remain here. And it's going to be Brown looking to inbound to one of his Monroe Express teammates. Slaps the ball. Tosses that one in for Rodriguez, who fires a three. Off the back of the rim, no good. Still loose. Rodriguez gets the rebound and throws it to nobody. He lost control of that one. And 5 Towns will take over.
Anthony Priest, way to get his head out of the way there. That was coming at him.
5 Towns putting on a clinic in the basketball IQ department tonight. Shabazz tossed it across to a wide open Corey Jacques, who fires a 3 ball, and that's going to be off the front of the rim, no good, and rebounded by Monroe. A nice behind the back move there, a drive and a shot, no call, and that one is going to be rebounded by Nigel Braithwaite. That one's worked over for Ismail Shabazz. Back up top to Kyrie Sawyer, in between Kyrie Sawyer and Corey Jacques. So, unfortunately, unable to suggest. Working over on the left side now is Monroe. And they're going to wave that one off, and they're going to give it to 5 Towns. And I didn't hear who they called it on.
I didn't. All right. I couldn't pick anything up either, Matty.
I guess they're going to get that on Sammy A, who goes to the bench. Kyrie back to Corey Jacques. From the top, tries to drive. Instead, kicks back out to Nigel Braithwaite. And that one goes up and no good.
So interesting, back and forth here early. Neither team has started to get themselves into a groove here.
And there's going to be Ismail Shabazz from the line. And he hits his first.
Big free throw there.
And that one is good as well. So Monroe will try to take it up the floor now, and here comes that full court press, and that one is tipped, and it's gonna go the other way off of Rodriguez.
Again, another great heads-up play here by Five Towns in the second half.
This is starting to look like a genuine meltdown from Monroe, as just nothing is going right for them.
Yeah, and Five Towns just seems to be in the right place at the right time, making the right moves. Couldn't agree more.
That one's worked into the corner for Priest. Back up for Sawyer with a head fake. Now gets absolutely stuffed. But Five Towns regains possession. Braithwaite in the corner, drives towards the basket, puts up a floater, and that one is no good, rebounded by Monroe. Fast break opportunity here, goes up, and they're gonna get a foul or a charge? What do we got here?
Waiting for a signal here.
And it looks like it's going to be Jaleel Jackson going to the line.
You know, Jaleel Jackson, I mean, he's handing out blocks.
No, it's a block party for Jaleel Jackson. He got John Francois earlier, who he's significantly shorter than. And he hits on that attempt.
And I mean, he just handled that. Like, he shoved that ball back in Kyrie's face, which is something you don't see often.
No, very rare. Anthony Priest over for Braithwaite in the corner for Shabazz. Thought about a three, instead shoots it down low on the baseline. No good for Priest, gets his own rebound, and goes up and in with the foul to boot.
And that's the last thing you want if you're Monroe here. You finally get a little bit of momentum in this half, the hoop and the home on your end, and then you give one right back to Five Towns on the next possession.
So Anthony Priest is going to try and make it a three-point play the old-fashioned way. And he hits. And he works it up over half court now. Driving, puts it up and in. Guess who but Jaleel Jackson. Ismail Shabazz goes up, tried to draw a foul, did not get a call, but he gets the basket anyway. That one is knocked away for Corey Jocks, but instead they go to Rodriguez. He goes up, no call, and gets it to go again.
Here we go. Both teams getting the rim off the rim off the net.
Corey Jocks in the corner for Shabazz. Drives, puts up the floater. Are you kidding me? Ismail Shabazz, how about that?
That's a move. That is a move by a great young man. Wow.
Somebody gets SportsCenter on the horn. That's going to be a top 10 play. That one's tipped away by Sawyer. Here comes Jock, and he throws it a bit too hard, but Sawyer is almost able to catch up and save it.
So both teams offensively starting to feel it here, starting to get the lid off the basket is what I wanted to say. But that Monroe defense has to tighten up a little bit.
Bounce pass over, now back to Paris. Working it in the corner, back up towards the middle now. That one is up and no good. Rebound put back, no good either. That was Severino who could not connect on that short-range shot. Priest gets the pick from Sawyer in the corner for Shabazz, who's wide open, dribbles, and that one's tipped away. Shabazz regains possession up top for Corey Jacques now, who is trying to slow things down. Over for Sawyer, and they're gonna get a travel on Kyrie Sawyer.
Kyrie not a fan of that call. I don't know if he's mad at himself or the officiating, but he's not happy. You did hear, yeah.
So the referee drawing at Corey Jacques. Let's look for that as Monroe scores, and they'll go to the line.
So just to kind of color in those lines here, we have seen Corey Jacques kind of chirping all night.
As Ismail Shabazz is slow to get up too. So a lot going on here to fill you in. And first we'll get to Shabazz. He went down hard on that, obviously shaken up. And then also earlier, a referee warns Corey Jacques.
Basically, yes.
In comes John Francois, the big man, for some height. He will go down low and look to rebound if the shot is missed by Jaleel Jackson.
Ishmael Shabazz goes to the bench holding his ribs, so that'll be something to watch out for here as we head down the stretch, especially if this game is close.
And there is John Francois with the rebound, gives up for Corey Jacques. Behind the back move, goes from left to right, working his way, almost a double team. Tried to get it down low to Francois. He does. He goes up and in for an easy two.
Beautiful pass there by Corey Jacques down low.
Down is worked over for Jackson. Drives, kick out shot. Rodriguez, three ball on the way. Off the rim, no good. John Francois there to rebound, but a turnover. John Francois gives that one away, and Severino puts it right back in. Jacques gets a pick from John Francois, down low to Braithwaite, up top for Priest. Thought about a shot, instead drives, goes up and in. How about that?
That's a pretty move by Anthony Priest.
Here is Monroe now driving, slow lay-in, does not go, and they're gonna get Nigel Braithwaite stepping on the line. Both him and Anthony Priest were in the same spot for the rebound, bumped into each other, and Nigel Braithwaite landed out of bounds.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was no tiptoeing himself in and out of there. That was just wrong place at the wrong time with the ball.
Absolutely, so Paris will look to inbound to one of his Monroe teammates, trailing by 7. Works it in, that shot is up and no good for Severino. Corey Jacques there to rebound. Priest, crossover move, drives, and they're gonna get a whistle. And they're gonna get Anthony Priest on the charge, so this one's gonna go the other way.
This really is like a heavyweight fight here. I mean, these teams are hitting, man.
Absolutely, a little bit of a low-scoring game too. So defensive style, old school basketball tonight at Five Towns College. Paris, back up over now for Paris. Working it down low for Severino. Back up top, loose ball, still loose. Monroe regains possession, but here's Nigel Braithwaite. A 2-on-0 if they hurry. Here's Kyrie Sawyer, up and in, count those two for Kyrie Sawyer. Here comes Monroe with some speed, slows it down, no call there. John Francois rebound, and gets to Corey Jacques, and we have a player down on the floor. And that looks like number 22, Jonathan Lopez.
I think when he went up for that shot, he got tangled in someone on Five Towns' ankles. But he is hurting.
Yeah, he is just staying on the floor right now. Can't say that I blame him as the trainer comes out to take a look. Five Towns will head to their respective bench and talk things over with their coach, as essentially this is a timeout.
And it does look like an even bigger loss than Lopez. That looks like Jaleel Jackson that's down on the floor, Matty.
It is Jaleel Jackson on the floor. I thought it was 22. It is Jaleel Jackson, who has had himself a night, 17 points, 7 rebounds. He is their leading scorer, and obviously the biggest difference maker for Monroe. So maybe it looks like a cramp. They're doing a little spray on the calf.
And if you're Monroe, you cannot lose him here. I mean, this game is still relatively close. We talked about the momentum. You said, Maddie, that the momentum is kind of swinging a little bit. Looks like Five Towns starting to put some possessions together. But if Monroe wants to stay in this game and really compete at the highest level, Jaleel Jackson has to be out on the floor.
Absolutely, but he will head to the bench for now. We'll keep an eye on it and see if he comes back out to play in this game. 55-46, 13:35 remaining in this game in the second half. Should be interesting to see what happens here down the stretch, as Five Towns leads by 9.
Nine does seem like a big lead here, but you take your foot off the gas and all of a sudden Monroe can definitely cut this lead down very quick.
Here's Ronnie Lambry, who's going to inbound to Corey Jacques. Jacques for Sawyer. Sawyer pump fake, goes back to Jacques. Thought about a 3. Instead, he's going to dribble towards his right. Over for Nigel Braithwaite. Over for John Francois now. Back to Braithwaite. Corey Jacques. Good ball movement by the Sound. Here's a pick, and they're going to get Ronnie Lambry on the moving pick.
And an excellent demonstration by the official of what exactly happened.
So here's Monroe with the ball, looking to get back in this game with 13-11 to go. Bounce pass over to the left side. Paris thought about a shot, decides against it, works it back over to Figueroa now. He drives and tosses that one up. And here's a drive by Lopez. That's a loose ball. Here's Lambry the other way. Crossover move, and he loses it and falls down, and they're going to get a jump ball. And it's going to remain here. It's going to be 5. It's going to be Monroe ball. It looked like they initially signaled for 5 towns and then decided against it.
Yeah, just tacked it up to the night, the evening.
Very on brand for tonight. Paris bounce pass over for Figueroa. Back to Paris now. At the top, looking to set up the Monroe offense. Didn't expect that pass back as they switch things up now, go from left to right. Here's Figueroa. Back to Paris, 10 seconds on the shot clock. That one's tipped away, and Jean-Francois could not bring that one in. It's going to remain Monroe ball, 7 seconds on the shot clock. So look for Monroe to work it in and get a shot up rather quickly.
Jonathan Lopez was holding the lip, so he got hit hard on that out of bounds in that corner.
That one is worked into Figueroa. Tries to drive, kicks it back out. That's going to go out of bounds a little bit too high. He tried to toss it up for Lopez, and it goes out of bounds. It'll be 5 towns ball. Jacques heads up the floor with some speed. It's going to be a timeout for 5 towns.
So, Matty, an interesting start to the second half here, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely see interesting things on both sides. It looks like at times each team's offense gets going, and then there's a couple mental mistakes that slow the pace down a bit.
Yeah, and it seems like both teams are definitely playing very, very physical. You talked about it being a low-scoring game, and it looks like that's where we're headed. Little streaks of scoring here and there, but a lot of heavy hitting.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of reminds you of the Charles Oakley Knicks with that out there. Very physical game for both sides. Obviously, we've talked a lot about Jean-Francois. He only has 6 points so far, so not a whole lot of action on the score sheet, but I definitely do notice him making an impact on the court.
Yeah, you mentioned not doing much on the score sheet. I really would like to see them work that ball down low, maybe get some more of these Monroe players into foul trouble. I know we got a couple guys there. O'Kella White has 4 fouls, Jameek Brown has 4 fouls. But if you can get one of these catalysts, especially Jameek Brown, who you've seen go coast to coast, if you can get him out of the game early, you can really start to shut the door on this game.
Absolutely, and like we mentioned, it is a 9-point game for 5 towns, 55-46. So they do have the ability to pull away here, but it's not completely over for Monroe, so you also got to watch that too. A couple of 3 points and they're right back in this game. So Lambry will inbound to Nigel Braithwaite. Thought about a quick shot, decides against it. Working over for Corey Jacques now. He dribbles with his left hand and gives for Sawyer. 5 towns moving from center to left now as Sawyer drives to the foul line. Takes a shot off the front of the rim, no good. And that will be rebounded by Monroe. And that's Sammy A with the rebound. Paris going coast to coast. Could not get the friendly roll. It rolls around the rim and out. And it looks like a fight for it. And Corey Jacques is going to come away with it initially. And Braithwaite now has it. Bounce pass over for Lambry. Jacques with it. Behind the back pass now. The whole Rolodex is coming out tonight.
Yo, my goodness.
Back for Jacques. Driving with his left hand. Got to get a shot off. They do, and it falls. Here's Paris. Working over on the left side. Back to Paris. Monroe playing catch on the perimeter, trying to set something up offensively. Severino, bounce pass, that's an errant one, and it's going to be taken away by Corey Jacques. Stops his dribble, gives for Nigel Braithwaite. Over for John Francois. That one slapped away, but he gains possession. Drives hard to the basket. That floater is up and no good. That's going to go Monroe's way. Here's Figueroa going coast to coast and a whistle.
Looks like maybe Corey Jock got a piece of him on his way up. Nigel Braithwaite maybe, excuse me.
Yeah, Nigel Braithwaite, they're going to get on the foul there. And it's going to be Joshua Figueroa looking to get things going for Monroe from the free throw line. That first attempt is good, so he'll get another. And Arid Kennard is going to come in for Nigel Braithwaite. So one more time, we're going to get another one, and that one is in. Back to a 9-point game here in Dix Hills. As Corey Jacques gets away. Bounce pass over for Lambry. Back to Jacques now. Over to the big man, John Francois, driving hard to the basket, up and in. A powerful move from the big man.
And that's the size we talk about. As soon as he got the ball, 2 Monroe defenders committed to trying to stop him. So let's see if they can get him in rhythm late here.
Paris drives, kicks out, and that one's tipped away. Corey Jacques tries to save it, but could not, as that one went off the hands of a Monroe player and out of bounds. It went off of Kyle Minot. He's a freshman guard from the Bronx. And look who made his return. Jaleel Jackson is back.
That is a big addition to this team.
Baseline shot is no good. John Francois didn't see it, still docked around. Monroe outside. 3 ball on the way is good. Count that for 3 more for Justin Paris. It's going to be Monroe ball after a little mishap with the inbounds pass.
Here we go, 8-point game. We talked about it, a big shot from Justin Paris. Boneheaded mistake by 5 Towns. All of a sudden, this is a huge possession here.
It absolutely is, and I think Monroe realizes that as they are communicating this inbounds pass. That one is worked in. Figueroa has it, fires up a 3 ball, and that one is no good and rebounded by Anthony Priest.
Did not like that play going for Monroe there.
Corey Jacques tries to drive, gives out for Kyrie, over for John Francois. He'll try again. That one is over to Kyrie Sawyer, 2 guys in the same place. Now a wide open look for Kennard. Off the rim, no good. Rebounded by 5 Towns. Jacques dribbles once, goes up and gets it to go. 10-point lead once again for the Sound. And Monroe will take a timeout with 9:22 remaining. Both teams talking things over with their respective coaches as we're heading into the home stretch of this game tonight. 5 Towns looking to pull away. Monroe looking to work themselves back into it. It's been a back and forth game most of the night, so would not be surprised if it heads that way down to the wire.
Yeah, I really would like to see, I mean, it's been a good game, so I'd really like to see both of these teams fight this one down to the wire. It's been very testy. We've talked about it. It's been a weird night. These refs are the officials are letting these guys kind of bump each other around a little bit. So it would be nice to see these 2 teams really go down to the wire. Jaleel Jackson being back in for Monroe, to me, is an absolutely huge deal.
Absolutely, it definitely is. We saw him go off with what appeared to be cramps. He is back relatively quick, maybe missed about 5 minutes of game time. And it looks like both teams are getting set to come back out on the court to finish this thing off here in Dix Hills.
I just wish, looking at Monroe, it seems like a lot of their offense, the little bit of a look we've gotten, it seems like it's kind of cultivated by the 3 ball. They're down 8 when they took that possession. They inbounded early in the shot clock to take a long 3 when they're just down 8. You have 9 minutes left. Work the ball down low. Try to get somebody some separation in a high percentage look. I'd like to see them get a little bit creative here in these last 9 minutes, Matty.
Yeah, absolutely. 9 and change remaining as the Sound take the court. Both teams ready to go. And it will be Monroe ball right by their own bench. Paris working over for Figueroa. Bounce pass back to Paris. Works it down low, and that's going to be knocked away, and Corey Jacques will come away with it. Corey dribbling with his left hand, behind the back now. Throws it in the corner for Sawyer, wide open three. Off the rim, no good. A rare miss on a wide open look for Kyrie Sawyer. Here comes Monroe up the floor with some speed. A nice move there, and that one's going to go out of bounds and remain here. It was Jaleel Jackson driving, and he tried to give it to, I believe it was Justin Paris.
Corey Jock having a block party of his own.
He certainly is. As Monroe looks to inbound, then they find a wide open Severino. Over for Paris. That shot is up and good. Count that for Monroe as they try to chip away a 5-Towns lead. A full court press here for Monroe. Spin move by Jacques, could not free from his man. Gives for John Francois. Kennard over for Anthony Priest, goes up and gets a whistle.
Looks like he'll have to the charity stripe here. These are two big free throws. Again, we talked about it. Monroe has had their opportunities to keep this game close. They're kind of doing it, so shots like these down the stretch are big as we head down these final 8 minutes.
First attempt on the way is good. Nigel Braithwaite is going to come in as Aaron Kennard will go over to the bench and take a seat. That attempt is up off the rim, no good. And Monroe will rebound and bring it up the court. 3 ball on the way, and that is no good off the back of the rim. And Anthony Priest comes away with the rebound. Here's Kyrie Sawyer, thought about driving, instead gives for Corey Jacques, who drives himself and gets that floater up and off the rim, no good. And here's a 2-on-1 if they hurry. 5-Towns getting back on beat pretty quick. That shot goes up and in. They get the whistle. It's going to be a charge. John Francois, the big man, drawing the charge on number 25, Jaleel Jackson.
And that was one of the easier calls that we've seen. I mean, he was there a day or two before the offense for Monroe got there.
Absolutely. He was ready to go. He had his feet set. And once again, we're going to see that full court press here as the heat is turned on in the final 8 minutes. Sawyer drives up the right side, and they're going to get a whistle. And that's going to be Paris on the whistle, so Kyrie Sawyer's going to the line. It's a 1-and-1 opportunity for Kyrie, so if he hits it, he'll get another shot. First one is good, so we'll reset and try it again. And second one is good as well. That one is almost tipped away, but here is Lopez driving, and that is a travel. Can't do that. Jonathan Lopez does the classic up and down, and this will go the other way.
5-Towns is a big possession, up 11. You can kind of take a big lead here, put a stranglehold on this game with a good possession.
Here's Anthony Priest, gets a pick, and they're going to get John Francois on the moving pick.
You know, they have not been shy to make that call tonight.
No, it seems like anytime they try to set a pick, there's a call. So we're going to roll that in for Jackson and try not to eat any clock off. And that one's tipped out of bounds. And look out, cameraman on the baseline.
That was a rocket out of bounds. Anthony Priest saw that one the whole way.
And that one is worked in for Paris in the corner. Dribbling with his left hand, brings it back out to reset the offense. That one is worked in, loose ball, Severino recovers, puts it up and in. Jacques guarded heavily by Figueroa. Tries to drive left side, instead it's gonna get that one tipped away and stolen. Here's a 2-on-0. Figueroa goes up and in, and count that for 2 for Monroe.
You know, Maddie, Monroe's done a great job to keep this game close. But they have not, it seems like whenever they get close enough to kind of put some good possessions together, it's when they can't put the good possessions together. Again, we're looking at a 7-point game. It's been in that range all night. Monroe just hasn't been able to make the plays when it gets as close.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's been the theme all night, it seems, that Monroe tries to work their way back in. They actually took a lead late in the first half, but they're just not able to sustain it.
Yeah.
.6:59 to go here in the second half on a rainy night here in Dix Hills.
This is going to be a very fun 7 minutes. Both of these teams, I mean, we've talked about it, both of these teams are really getting after it tonight.
They absolutely are, and now as the buzzer sounds, they will head out to the floor. At least one team does, Monroe. They 5-town sound. They're still talking things over with their coach, and they are ready to head out themselves. It will be 5-town's possession. And it'll be Anthony Priest right in front of his own coach. Works it into a wide open Nigel Braithwaite. On the right side, Priest, no good off the rim. A long 3 ball would not fall, but Monroe's gonna head up the floor. Jackson tried to go coast to coast. They're gonna draw another foul.
Another easy one. This Monroe offense is just missiling themselves into these 5-town defenders that are there like hours before they even get on the side of the floor.
So Priest will inbound to Corey Jacques. No more full court press for Monroe. Sawyer stops his dribble. Gives for Nigel Braithwaite. Over on the right side now. Works it down low for John Francois. Tries to drive baseline, goes up, no good. And here comes Monroe. Figueroa goes up and blocked. Corey Jacques says, not in my house, not today anyway. And tips that one away. Sawyer, crossover move, drives, puts up that one off the side of the rim, no good.
That whistle looks like it's going to be on Zuriel Severino.
So this will be Kyrie Sawyer, 2017-2018 honorable mention All-American at the free throw line. Hits his first attempt. Second attempt on the way, that one is good too for Sawyer. Back to a 9-point lead for the Sound. Jackson and Paris playing catch on the outside. Back to Paris now. A long 3-ball attempt, and that's off the front of the rim, no good. Seemed like a wasted possession there, Tyler.
Yeah, I don't know. You're down single digits. You ran the same offense all night, it seems like to me.
Here's a 3-ball from Sawyer, and that's good. Can't leave that man wide open. He'll bury it.
Monroe maybe takes some notes, some ball movement. That's what happens. You get guys open for 3.
Jackson over for Figueroa. They're working the perimeter again. Go figure. Back to Figueroa. He fires up a 3-ball, and that one is off the backboard, not really too close.
Did not keep his form on that 3 either, you notice.
Sawyer tries to drive now, gets a little pick, and that one is blocked. Jackson again tips it away. And here comes Monroe. That one is up and in. Count that for an easy 2 for Paris. Sawyer slowing things down as we creep up on the 5-minute mark of the second half. Gives over for Corey Jacques. Slowing things down again, as I said, now driving towards the lane. Goes up, and they're going to get Monroe on the foul. They're going to call Figueroa on that one.
So with a 10-point lead, Corey Jacques will head to the free throw line, looking to extend that lead. And Figueroa talking things over now with the referee, pleading his case, but no luck there as Jacques hits the first one.
Substitutions coming in for both teams. Looks like Francois just checked in, as well as Anthony Priest.
Yes, and in comes Omar Rodriguez back. That attempt is up and rattles around the rim and falls. So it's a 71-59 game. Jameek Brown gets it at the top and now working over towards the left side. Worked into the corner now for Paris. Spin move, drives baseline, puts up a floater, and that one is off the wrong side of the backboard and out of play.
Don't really know, at least from what I've seen of basketball, don't really know how it's Monroe's ball. Once the ball goes behind the backboard,
you would think that would normally be out of play.
Yeah, all the time when I've watched at least.
Might have missed something here. I wouldn't put it past us, but nonetheless, Monroe will head to the free throw line now. So this is number 24, Omar Rodriguez from the free throw line. First attempt is no good, and Ismail Shabazz will come in. And John Francois will take a seat. And he gets a hand from the Five Towns faithful. That attempt is up and in, so an 11-point game now as Five Towns going to head up the floor with some speed. Jacques gives for Braithwaite, who drives baseline, puts up a floater, and gets it to go. A pretty play from Jacques to Braithwaite. Back up over for Jackson. Thought about a three, instead drives now. A little floater, way too short. Anthony Priest there to rip that one in. Spin move from Priest. He's going to drive a loose ball, still loose. It's going to head the other way. Five Towns get back on defense pretty quickly. Pull-up jumper is good. Count that. Two more for Omar Rodriguez.
Omar Rodriguez needed that. He's on a one. He's working on a 1 for 7 tonight.
That one is down low for Ismail Shabazz. Baseline jumper. No call there as it went off the side of the backboard.
I mean, it looks like he got hit quite a few times there.
Shabazz finds for Corey Jacques. As the Five Towns offense will reset, gives for Kyrie Sawyer. Goes up, no call, but he gets the shot to go up and in. And we'll have a whistle as it looks like another injury for Monroe.
I think these are the guys that were working the Saints and Rams game last weekend. If I didn't know any better.
Hey, if you didn't know any better, you might be onto something, Ty. As it looks like, I can't see who that is down on the floor. I'm pretty sure it's Jameek Brown.
And that one looks like an ankle.
And it is Jameek on the other side of the court. He's going to be helped up by the trainer. He gets a nice hand as he heads back to his team in the huddle. He's going to tough this one out. So a banged up Jameek Brown and Jaleel Jackson. Two of Monroe's better players tonight.
And down 13 late. It seems like maybe just too much tonight for the Monroe Express.
They're going to roll this one in as to not eat up that much clock as Nigel Braithwaite puts some pressure on. But Jaleel Jackson's able to cover it. Paris fires up a three, and that one is good. Count that for three for Justin Paris. Back to a 10-point game. And this Monroe team just won't die tonight. Shabazz over for Sawyer. Sawyer gives for Braithwaite. Anthony Priest now on the outside. Five Towns working the perimeter. Spin move by Priest, gives for Jax, driving is Sawyer. He gets his shot blocked, but Shabazz is there to put it up and in.
Again, the officials swallowing their whistle there.
A nice up and under move there for Jaleel Jackson. And 10-point game once again as Nigel Braithwaite, the long Hail Mary goes up, and a block party again. Guess who? Do I even have to say? Jackson. Fadeaway jumper is no good, and that rebound is ripped in. Five Towns finally slows things down. Anthony Priest with it at the top. 2:15 to go here tonight. Gives for Corey Jacques. Gives to Nigel Braithwaite driving, but it goes off his hands and out of bounds.
Monroe is running out of time to make their run here.
Jackson over for Paris, long three on the way, good. Justin Paris wide open from downtown, connects.
It's a good way to get it started.
7-point game with just under 2 minutes to play. This one's certainly not over. Corey Jacques trying to eat as much clock as possible. Gives for Sawyer. Gives for Braithwaite. Here comes Anthony Priest. Five Towns working that perimeter again. Spin move. Clock is winding down, and there will be a whistle. And they're going to get Jaleel Jackson on the foul, so we'll get a couple of shots here.
These are big free throws here to ice this game, not to let it get so out of hand here in these final couple minutes.
That attempt is up and in. There's one. So John Francois is going to come in as Ismail Shabazz goes and takes a seat. Second attempt is good. A 9-point lead with 1:33 to go. Paris over now. They're playing quick ball movement is Monroe. Paris three ball on the way, and that one rattles around the rim, no good. Couldn't get it to fall that time. Back up top, another three ball on this possession off front of the rim, no good. Desperation mode for Monroe does not pay off. Braithwaite for Priest, tries to drive, goes up, draws a foul. You can count that one, and he'll go to the line too.
That might be the final nail in the coffin there. That's a huge hoop and harm. The crowd's into it. Looking pretty good here via the Five Town Sound.
A very nice play there for Priest to go up hard, get the foul, and be able to drain the bucket as well. That shot goes up and in. Make it a 12-point game with 1:06 to go. Paris dribbling on the outside, works it down low, and that is going to be loose, but regain possession, and that shot is off the side of the backboard. No good. John Francois comes away with the rebound. Sawyer up for Nigel Braithwaite. He's going to dribble it around. He brings it back up top. Corey Jacques. Eating up a lot of time. There's Kyrie Sawyer now with it. 40 seconds left in this contest. Winding down a ton of time on the shot clock. There's now just 10 seconds on the shot clock. They'll eventually have to shoot, but just winding up as much time as possible. Sawyer drives baseline and goes up and no good. We're going to get a jump ball. It's going to be Five Towns possession with 26:06 to go. So they work it in for John Francois, shot clock off. Sawyer on the outside, 17 to go. Thought about driving, instead kicks up for Anthony Priest. Tried to flop, did not get the call. 10 seconds left. And Sawyer's just gonna look like to run this one out unless something drastic happens in the next couple of seconds. And
that'll do it. 82-70 is your final score. 5 Towns in the win column again.
You know, Maddie, it was an interesting game. That's kind of been the theme of the whole night. Interesting calls, interesting first half, but this was a really, really good win. A testy, a chippy win against a team that you look like on paper just a JV squad, but they really gave everything they had against this 5-time squad tonight.
No, yeah, it was definitely a good fight for Monroe. I thought they played a relatively good game for most of the way. Sure, they shot themselves in the foot a little bit along the way, especially in the second half when they had a chance to get back into the game, but you got to give credit to 5 Towns, who's a quality basketball team. They proved that over the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Maddie.
All right, and now we're going to go on down to the sideline with Star Fuentes.
All right, so Star Fuentes here with the one and only Coach Skip Hart. So what did you think of tonight's game?
I thought today was an excellent game on both sides. Both teams played very well. We played smart today. We're coming along, did a nice job.
Now, what are some things that the Sound should work on for their upcoming game?
Well, we're going to stop the turnovers. Sometimes we throw the ball away too much, and we got to continue to rebound and just work together. A couple new players, you know, and we're adding everybody, and we look strong.
How do you think those new players are adapting?
They're doing a great job, and they're fun to work with.
All right, thank you so much. Congratulations on the win. All right, guys, back to you.
Thank you.
Let me get it started. BB with the Robins, looking all retarded. BB sagging, fly like a dragon. Suck my cause I fly like Aladdin. Think I'm stupid, I ain't stupid. Dummy boy fall in love with it, he's stupid. All these on my body, cut the all these stay loyal, y'all looking stupid. I just left Starlets and I ain't even cash out. I back out straight to the trap house, I blow it back out. Pull the tracks out, got it running like a track now. Like a smackdown, rock bottom, I'ma pin it down. Hold up. Let me get it started. BB with the Robins, looking all retarded.